Hello, everybody. It is 5:30 p.m. It is the 9th of September already, 2025. We've got a lot to cover, so I just want to say hello to who is in the chat. BMCC, Tony Punch, Sandra Pilar Gill, Rage Against the Machine, Andrew Cruz, Barb in Ohio, Debbie Frotto, B-Dub. Hi, B-Dub. How's the weather down there in Florida? More flood warnings, South Florida. All right, Debbie Frotto, hello. And Patricia White, hi. T. Lamb. The girl that was stabbed to death on a train in Charlotte, you found out she was surrounded by people that did help her? Didn't. You meant didn't? I think didn't. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but there are people who will step up, but most people won't. Oracle 11, hello, Tony Bello and Brian C. Tanya Smith, hi. Didn't, okay. Yeah, we have a lot of people dying, either by gun or stabbings or, wow. It's I never thought that we were such a peaceful people, but it's kind of out of control. All right. Yeah. All right, let's do radar. Now, it looks kind of okay, right? Except, look at Florida. What are we looking at? We're looking at air masses moving in opposite directions. Right here, we're going to go, from the Atlantic into Florida west, and here we're going to go up northeast, and that's not how Mother Nature ever worked. So they have, unfortunately, full control over our weather. You have just now, I'm noticing, I didn't notice it a few minutes ago, but Missouri, you're getting some supercell activation, and Nebraska, these supercells, but look at all of these supercells in line from Nebraska, Colorado, New Mexico, Panhandle of Texas. Very strange happenings. You have this blob that's immediately evaporates, but a new one formed in Missouri. All right, well, Wisconsin, you're getting thunderstorms. Where are you going, air mass? Oregon. Look at all of these little blips activating, and look at, all right, you've got something going on in California, Southern California. I have never seen kind of day after day your extremely low frequencies raging as they have been recently. Very dangerous. It is a weapon of war. I have a playlist. I don't know what it's called, Wi-Fi. It's the electromagnetic electromagnetic frequency playlist, and all of the fabulous things that they can do to make you feel like hell, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychically. And they can use these for mind control. So any of you in California, you want to speak up, how How are your fellow Californians? Their mind, are they losing it? Look at all of these developing at the exact same time. Our fabulous weather. So, what do we have? We've got 6 active for Colorado, Kansas, Texas, um, Logan County in Colorado, special marine warning, Crescent Beach, St. Augustine, which is, I believe, Florida. Yep, right down here. We've got severe thunderstorms in line from Texas on up to, well, into Nebraska. Weather modification playlist. Got Bent and Prowers counties in Colorado, and Dallam, Hartley, and Sherman counties in Texas, and Deaf Smith, Randall counties in Texas. You got Kit Carson in Colorado, and Sherman in Kansas. Did you see the size of the hail in Kansas? Well, I'll show you if you didn't see it. All right, so you have flash flood watches in Oregon, down here in Bend and Prineville, Madras. Be careful. Pockets of special weather statements, which is also in Oregon. Strong thunderstorm will impact central Skamania County through 3:45 p.m. So I'm thinking that it's done. Flash flood warning in Idaho, Pocatello, coming out of Pocatello. You have in central Idaho, central Custer County, flash flood warning. Red flag warnings for Utah. So I hope they don't bring about fires for you. Wind advisories in Arizona. Dense smoke advisory, California into Nevada. Severe thunderstorm watch, Colorado into Kansas. Also, right smack in central Kansas, you have flooding caused by excessive rainfall. That warning continues. Portions of central and south central Kansas, including counties in central Kansas, McPherson, Saline, Harvey, Reno. Flooding of rivers and creeks and streams and other low-lying and flood-prone locations likely. You have flood watches along the coast all the way. We've got Delaware, we've got Pennsylvania, we've got, well, Pennsylvania, no, Maryland and Delaware and Virginia and North Carolina and South Carolina and Georgia, all the way into Florida, and flood watches for you guys in Florida. Heavy rainfall, flash flooding possible. And you can find out all the areas. Also, that's, well, from west to east in central Florida. And the Cape Coral area, flash flooding possible, heavy thunderstorms. And again, thunderstorms bring about tornadic activity, very large hail, destructive hail, hurricane winds, downbursts, microbursts, flash flooding, lightning that hits homes, and voila, you've got a destroyed home from fire, hitting people, and boom, they're dead. So the link to Weatherwise is in the chat. And The alert page link is in the chat. I hope you guys are all in the habit of checking weather. Like morning, afternoon, before you go to bed. Because yes, yeah, how many times have we heard from people over the years? It came out of nowhere. That's why you have to check the weather. So, wow, we have stuff, man. We've got stuff. Earthquakes rattle the Pacific Northwest on a fault line, overdue for the big one. Oh, fault line off the coast of Oregon has experienced multiple earthquakes in less than 12 hours, sparking fears that a major seismic event would soon strike. U.S. Geological Survey detected the latest tremor of 5.1, which, wow, 1 p.m. Tuesday, bringing the total to nearly a dozen above 2.5. The activity began Monday when a 5.8 magnitude tremor hit. Whoa, triggering aftershocks throughout Tuesday. Scientists have long warned that the zone is overdue for a catastrophic event, with many nicknaming it the sleeping giant. Wow, nothing like keeping us on our toes all the time. And for you guys, if you're in Oregon, if you're California, Washington, the link is in the chat. You can read more. And record flooding in Kansas. I don't think this was record flooding in Kansas, but of course, a whole lot of these weather, channels are clickbait. Their titles are clickbait. But it's flooding. Now
a slow-moving storm system has delivered a devastating.
Now we look at this kind of flooding as nothing. It's a puddle, right? Compared to the flooding that has been going on. But it's a big puddle. And it causes an awful lot of inconvenience, a lot of cleanup for people of their yards and their backyards, especially. I think some of this flooding went into stores. Hope that it didn't get into homes. Yeah. Well, this was yesterday. Yeah, it did get into stores because you can see it, the water coming in the door right here. Dogs have fun, though. The hail was intense, really.
We're gonna go to the eye doctor tomorrow. Got shards in my eye. This is what we get, you guys. I hope you're satisfied with this. I am very much satisfied. We're done. We can't drive. We gotta get picked up. I gotta get these shards out of my eyes and out of my body. We can get somebody to take us home. I can trailer out tomorrow. Never seen a hailstorm like this. Okay, 1 mile then south? Okay. Let's do it.
Boy, they have so much fun while so many are suffering the consequences. The hell was huge, by the way. So what the hell meant a roller coaster evacuation at Hershey Park, their misadventure? Hershey Park is in Pennsylvania. That had a question mark. I believe it is. Hershey is in Pennsylvania, right? I guess it just stopped working.
No, keep going. No, this way.
That's a young boy. Why he was walking on this, I don't know. But this I saw days ago, like 5 days ago. So I'm not sure. The Hershey Park evacuation, roller coaster evacuation, was yesterday, but maybe they just included this again. Wow. Several cargo containers spill off ship, Port of Long Beach. What an exciting time.
Breaking news we're watching very closely. You see this video here. This is out of the Port of Long Beach, and shipping containers are seen bobbing in the water. Now, to put this into perspective, this is one of the busiest ports in all of North America. If you think that's a big deal, just wait until the camera pulls out. Let's watch our coverage from CBS News Los Angeles.
What you're seeing here is a very large container ship. This is the Mississippi. That's the name of that cargo vessel. And you can see down there what appears to be Long Beach police on scene in their boat. It looks like about 50 to 100 cargo containers have toppled over the side of the Mississippi here, including onto what appears to be some kind of a vessel on its side, and then to the rear of that vessel here. Now, the good news is I have just gotten off the phone with a spokesperson for the Port of Long Beach. They say
nobody was injured. No injuries. Good news. Okay, but all of these cargo containers are filled with products, shoes and clothing, and all righty. And look at this, okay? Ominous and amazing. Watch a supercell loom over Oklahoma, Monday evening.
This enormous thunderstorm in northwest Oklahoma was both ominous and beautiful. But what's up with the crazy-looking cloud and those amazing colors?
What you're looking at is a supercell thunderstorm. These monster storms are often rotating and capable of producing tornadoes. What you're likely seeing is the sunset colors at left, per usual, but also an aqua greenish tint at right. This is because all of that moisture in the storm scatters blue light. Add in the sunlight and you get more of a green hue.
Ellis County did
have
a tornado warning Monday evening, with hail up to tennis ball size reported in the region.
Southern Indiana, shelter-in-place advisory issued due to possible chemical fire. All right. I don't remember, as I was growing up and young adult, seeing all of these chemical fires, explosions happening all over the country.
that huge column of thick smoke pouring out of that building. And the Warwick County Sheriff says it's spewing potentially hazardous chemicals. The fire started around 3:45 this afternoon. Firefighters say it is still burning nearly 8 hours later. Firefighters confirm that building houses PBTT. That's a manufacturer in Newburgh. There are shelter-in-place orders right now for neighbors in Warwick County because of potential chemicals in the air, and that just got extended west because of high winds. Some neighbors heard explosions when the fire started.
We heard it and we were thinking maybe it's just somebody, like, I don't know, hunting or like for some whatever weird reason blowing up like some dynamite or something. And then we looked up and we saw the flames, so we just figured probably time to pull out the camera.
Yeah, he capped.
Okay. We heard the explosion and we just someone hunting or somebody, blowing up something with dynamite. That is so reflective of what we are living now. You hear an explosion. Could that be somebody just blowing up something with dynamite? BC. Roaring wildfire.
I don't recall them saying this, and we're driving right past this. I think it's a matter of time before they close this highway down. It's an inferno.
It was pretty scary. It was very surreal. Just as I got closer, seeing how dark it got, like it was just this blanket that went overhead, and the smoke plumes were like just rolling in on themselves. It looked like they were alive.
Oh my gosh. Okay, they got to close this highway down.
The experience was very humbling. You kind of don't realize the devastation and just the fierceness of the fires, and how fast they can destroy so much. You realize that you are just this little tiny little being in that big huge fire, and it was in control.
I think that happened way faster than what they thought, but holy hell. Thank God I'm through that.
So that's British Columbia, just in case people didn't know what BC is. British Columbia, Canada. Residents return home to nothing. The Chinese camp. And it is just so sad to watch this over and over and over again.
It's hard to describe what's left behind.
I need a hug.
Piles of rubble, layers of ash, and the memory of a home.
We had 17 acres. There was 2 houses, shop, outbuildings, my cabin, and it just it took everything. And the same way with my neighbors. It leveled everything.
All they could do was watch and wait for fire crews to arrive. So you actually watched your home engulfed in flames?
Oh yeah, we've seen it. I seen some of my outbuildings as we were leaving. My outbuildings were going up, and the shop was all in flames, and everything.
The land carried more than a home. It held his shop, outbuildings, and his livelihood.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to make a lot more now. I made rustic furniture, and there was the model railroad and collected antiques, and
so all of that was there when it burned.
Yeah, my beer can collection that I dug and collected my whole life, like astronomical, everything that I lost.
It's a tough morning.
Now this is another fire. This was the Chinese campfire. They're now allowing the residents to return. This fire was, 2 weeks ago? In an area that is historic. And this just happened.
For folks who live in this mobile home park here in Lakeside, because what folks are waking up to is a lot of destruction. Right here is one property. This home here was destroyed in this fire that grew out of control.
Do we think that these garbage, the trash bins, were just brought there? These people were just allowed back to see the devastation of their homes. Do we think that? Should we think that? I kind of don't think that. I kind of think that they were there for the fire. Yeah, it's in San Diego.
For yesterday.
Oh, your niece lives in Lakeside. Wow. Okay.
Afternoon, and you can see the sharp contrast between this destroyed property and the home next.
Now, this was a vegetation fire. I guess different from a brush fire. A vegetation fire that literally destroyed and brought to, well, everything's gone, certainly inside, but right next door.
This destroyed property and the home next door. There are several homes here still standing, of course. We know at last check that Cal Fire is telling us that there were about 6 mobile homes that were damaged in this fire. It was very chaotic yesterday. In fact, we have some of that footage as we were live on the air yesterday with some of the coverage. Yesterday afternoon, multiple fire crews were called out to the Monterey Mobile Home Park when a vegetation fire ignited just north of the 8 freeway at Los Coches Road. It
ignited. It just ignited.
Prompted temporary evacuations. Neighbors at one point tried helping each other among the chaos, many of them grabbing water hoses and just trying to water down a lot of the properties out here. The fire, though, quickly exploded due to some gusty winds, though fire crews were able to get containment pretty quickly. It grew to only a little over 5 acres, but it certainly caused a lot of destruction and devastated many families who lost their homes. We did speak with one lady whose family members lost their property, and well, here's what she told us.
It was horrible. Watching all the loss for my family.
Lost a lot of property up there.
They lost the property, the whole house, everything in it, the whole house. So I'm gonna go get my nieces and nephews taken care of, at least with some things that they can get by with the next couple days. So they lost everything.
Fire engulfs Folsom home as SWAT responds to barricaded subject. Okie dokie, this was quite, you might have heard of it, but Sacramento.
Live Copter 3 over a neighborhood in Folsom tonight where we have a large police presence, including SWAT officers, and you can see that house on fire, a neighborhood blocked right now. Law enforcement in the neighborhood. These pictures show how a house is surrounded by police and firefighters. It is chaotic and it is dangerous.
Thank you for joining us for our news tonight at 7. I'm Edie Lambert.
And I'm Curtis Ming. It's happening right now on River Ridge Way in Folsom. KCRA3's Andres Valle is live there in that neighborhood with what he found out.
Yeah, so Curtis, Edie, what we just found out right now, confirmed by Sac Metro Fire, is that there is a person barricaded inside that home right there. So right now, fire crews are taking a very defensive approach about putting out the flames right now. You can see those Sac Metro fire ladders up in the air as they're dousing water over this home right now. You can still see some of those flames still basically coming up from that house right there. But again, we do know that SWAT officers are on scene. We saw those SWAT vehicles come here into this area of River Ridge Way. We're standing on River Ridge Way in Patton Circle. This is where a homeowner allowed us to be on his property, but Folsom Police has pushed a lot of people out of this area. They've asked people who are living in this area to shelter in place. As you can see from Live Copter 3 right now, it is a pretty large police and fire presence here right now. We did touch base with Folsom Police and as well as Sac Metro Fire. They're currently on the way to the scene to provide us more information, but what we do know now, confirmed here at 7 o'clock, is that one person was barricaded inside. Then that fire started. So fire crews had to take a defensive approach of handling these flames. They're trying to contain that fire to that single home further down here on River Ridge Way. So,
all right, so SWAT team shows up. You have to wonder if the SWAT started the fire, but apparently somebody in the home. Doesn't look like they survived it, not with this kind of fire. But everything except for the Chinese camp, because they were returning to see their homes, happened within the last 24 hours. Oh, and this too. Crews met a large apartment fire in Pittsburgh, Squirrel Hill neighborhood.
Good morning, I'm Erica Moke. We are breaking into programming because of a large 4-alarm apartment fire in Squirrel Hill. This apartment building sits on Forward Avenue. We want to go out live to our Ross Gadati. He has been on scene all morning of this fire. Ross, I was listening to an interview. You were talking to a witness, a man who lives there. He said a portion of the roof has collapsed.
That is correct. A large portion of the roof and part of the front of the building is also collapsed. It was a 2-alarm fire, quickly became a 3-alarm fire. It is now a 4-alarm fire, as you mentioned. Part of the facade went backwards and not forwards, thankfully, based on the fact that there were firefighters down below. And that's when you heard the diesel blast from the engines to get everybody out of there. And since then, they have aerial trucks basically putting as much water on this fire as they can. Residents are all over the place, including my friend here. This is Matthew Stock. Matthew, you were in there this morning.
Yep.
You said that you were on the first floor and then you smelled something.
That is correct, yeah. There was a lot of smoke coming down. Like I said, I thought that someone burned their breakfast or something, so I opened my window to let the smoke out. Next thing I know, there's firefighters going up the stairs. They're banging on the doors, letting everyone know they got to get out. So I come out, and here I am with all of this going on.
What were your initial impressions when you came out here and saw all of this?
Well, at first they seemed to have it contained to just that area right there, you see. And then it started to spread. We saw more black smoke coming up, and then without warning, we just have these sudden flares of fire and the roof collapses in, which is pretty dramatic, as you can imagine.
As a matter of fact, I think that's exactly what just happened on this section of the building while we were talking.
Yep.
Now, as we were speaking before, you're not holding out a lot of hope as for what you got on the first floor at this point.
Well, at this point, I am not a trained fire professional, so obviously I can't make a big judgment call on that. I've got my fingers crossed, obviously, but, you know, what will be, will be.
Certainly is the case. Matthew Stock, thank you for talking to us in a very difficult time. I wish you the absolute best, as I do the rest of the residents here. That was Matthew Stark. He lives on the first floor.
And I just saw that this whole building is no longer habitable. You see how many apartments are in this building? It's gone. A whole lot of your fellow Americans displaced all over the place. Fatal Queens fire in New York. Double homicide. So this too, all of this within the last 24 hours.
Well, just to let you know where we are, this is on the Nassau-Queens border. This is 8786 254th Street behind me. You could see the sheets covering up the part of this home where one woman, we are told, was found badly burned. And you can see the fire inside that home spread to much of that portion of the place where you see these investigators standing inside of the home. However, we are told from sources this was not an accidental fire. This was an incendiary fire, meaning someone intentionally set this house, this person ablaze. And we are also told, tragically, that another person was found dead inside of here, possibly the woman's husband in the basement. He was bound, we are told, inside of that basement when investigators rushed inside earlier today around 3 o'clock this afternoon. And we are told this all began as some sort of robbery or a push-in home invasion, we are told by sources. And that is when that woman ultimately may have been bound and then burned. Again, possibly her husband was found in the basement, also bound. The cause of his death is unknown at this time. The medical examiner's office is here on scene, along with the FDNY, along with the ATF, and they are trying to determine who did this.
This happened, I believe, yesterday. Minneapolis, commercial buildings, plural, destroyed.
The Minneapolis Fire Department fought to put out a large fire in an abandoned warehouse in northeast Minneapolis this morning. Fox 9's Babs Santos is at the scene with a look at the impact, and looks like investigators are still on the scene tonight, Babs.
Yeah, they're still working to try to put this out completely. Check it out behind me. Even here across the parking lot, you can feel some of the mist coming from that hose, and the smoke in the air is thick. But most importantly today, authorities say no one was injured or killed in all of this mess.
Walking my deck, I could see the flames. They were like so high up that I was like, wait a minute, is that my neighbor's house?
Neighbors in northeast Minneapolis woke up in disbelief Sunday morning around 4:30 as this massive fire made a chilly September day feel more like mid-July. Washington Castillo's family could only record these videos as the fire put their neighborhood on edge.
My concern was like, maybe the ashes will reach toward our houses and there goes our neighborhood. It was like 40, 50 feet high. That was how high was it.
Minneapolis firefighters say the fire took off inside an abandoned lumber warehouse before spreading to grip a total of 4 abandoned commercial buildings, part of the structures collapsing in the heat.
And I could feel the heat all the way down that way.
When Assistant Chief Melanie Rucker's firefighters arrived, it was destined to be a defensive fight with multiple aerial water towers up, although
All within 24 hours. This was 3 weeks ago.
But first tonight, take a look at this video of a roaring house fire. This is up in North Harris County. Authorities say the fire and a second one at an apartment complex were caused by lightning.
Yeah, the apartment complex is located at Hirschfield Road. The house is on Antique Cedar Lane, and our Katira Winfrey is live in that area this evening. Katira.
Sherman and Lynn, you can't make out the damage very well from where I'm standing, but you can see that there is caution tape up right now. I just spoke to the homeowner and he tells me the house is essentially a total loss. But the good news, the family was not inside when the lightning struck, but people in this neighborhood say they definitely heard it. This is the moment that sounded the alarm, setting fellow neighbors on edge. It happened as a quick round of rain came down.
But I heard it and it scared me. And then I went to my husband's office and I said, oh my God, did you hear that?
It didn't take long to realize that big boom was a lightning strike. And Juan and Anika Simmons' thoughts confirmed while looking through footage captured on their doorbell camera.
So I saw flames immediately, and I knew that the lightning strike had caused the house to catch on fire.
Another neighbor shared this video of fire shooting from the roof, telling us that the couple who lives inside and their children were not home when it happened.
This was 2 days ago, Hawaii.
On Oahu, the impact of a devastating fire that recently destroyed a pair of homes continues to impact the Aina Haina community. Eric Nackton spoke with a local resident today who now has to rebuild his life.
The neighbor's house is completely collapsed and to the ground. My house, the fire punched through one of the bedroom walls and essentially eviscerated my whole house.
Efforts continue to rise from the ashes.
The final week of August, a morning fire devastated the Ainahana community, destroying 2 homes.
I had gotten my truck loaded with surfboard and dive gear, and I was exercising, and in the back you can see lights flickering against the mango leaves. And then when I went outside, I saw flames licking the top of the patio, and another fire that was burning by his kitchen that was burning the eaves.
Do you remember ever seeing this amount of fires? Now, we've seen it throughout the recent years. I'm not talking about the recent years gone by. I'm talking about, when we were younger. I do not recall. Now, of course, we have the internet and we can see, more, but it just seems kind of strange to me that we have, it's not one home, but multiple homes or a huge apartment building, apartment complexes, vegetation fire, brush fires, taking out several homes. By the way, the fire in San Diego, Lakeside, 6 homes were damaged, were, pretty much destroyed. I don't recall this. And another fire in Hawaii.
But first, Honolulu fire crews have been fighting a building fire in Kalihi all day. 60 firefighters responded to the blaze. Officials say it's been a challenge to extinguish because a part of the warehouse's roof collapsed. Fire officials say the blaze broke out at around 9 Sunday morning at a textile and fabric warehouse on Austin Lane. Thick clouds of smoke spread through Kalihi for much of the day. Dozens who live nearby were forced to evacuate.
Oh, scary. Because you get everything in your house, yeah. And then all of a sudden the police come in and says, evacuate, you guys gotta get out. I'm like, what? All I did was make sure my boys got out, my dogs, and my mom's ashes. I left everything else. I mean, already we went evacuate for the tsunami. That was bad enough. And again, jeez.
All the smoke was just coming all into everybody's apartment. So, yeah, I have my 3 kids, so I had to, hurry up and get my kids out.
It was really scary because really close to home. Inside the house, you can barely see. It's all smoky, and it's really scary. It's really scary.
What else? 4 children killed in North Carolina house fire. The number of people who are dying in these fires is really just heartbreaking.
4 children have been killed in an early morning house fire in Columbus County. The sheriff says the fire broke out shortly after 3 a.m. about a mile northeast of Chadbourne. We've also learned 4 sisters between the ages of 2 and 7 died. 2 11-year-old girls were able to escape. The Columbus County Sheriff says the SBI and the fire marshal are investigating. The sheriff also says no adults were home at the time when they initially got the call about this fire.
That was just about 10 days ago. Firefighters battled Fort Worth house fire.
I want to turn to some breaking news we're following out of Fort Worth. You see all the smoke. A live look as the firefighters battling a house fire in the Southern Historic District. This is on South William Street, just south of I-30. And boy, you can see the flames really billowing as they spray the water there on the roof of that house. We do have a crew headed there. They're on the ground, and we'll bring you more details at WFAA.com.
What is this? Hundreds of people displaced in a Houston apartment fire. This was 2 weeks ago.
KHOU 11 starts right now with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news alert in Spring Branch area tonight, where 2 firefighters were hurt. Several families lost their homes in an apartment fire.
Witnesses shared several dramatic videos with us of the flames and people running for safety with whatever they could carry. This happened at the Three Corners West complex that's located near Kempwood and Gessner.
Matt Doherty with the fire crew on scene. He joins us live tonight. Matt?
Let me take a look inside those gates of the apartment complex. That's where fire crews are still working hard tonight, trying to put out some of the hot spots that have been left behind. The fire chief is telling us they're still trying to get a specific number on how many people don't have a place to sleep tonight, but he says that number is certainly in the hundreds. HFD says there are almost 400 apartment units here. This is video taken by a group of women visiting their cousin this afternoon. And you can see how upset some of these residents were as they returned home from work today, watching their apartments burn. Fire Chief Thomas Munoz says it didn't take long for this fire to escalate. It didn't take long for it to become a 3-alarm fire either, burning dozens of units in its path.
That means we had over 100 firefighters fighting this complex, apartment complex. At the current moment, we have more than 24 units with fire damage and many more with water damage.
One person killed in Cicero house fire. This is the Syracuse, New York.
All right, we have breaking news to get to. Fire investigators on the scene in Cicero, where one person has died in an overnight house fire. The Cicero fire chief says the call came in just before midnight when they got to the home on Codnoy Road, right near the Route 11 intersection. They could see smoke pouring out of the house. Firefighters couldn't get through the front door because of what they call hoarding conditions. Crews had to go through the garage to get inside. There was fire coming from the kitchen. The victim was found in that area. Right now, their name and age is not being released.
Hoarding. Wow. And one of those self-driving semis, well, had an accident in Dallas. Don't you think we should?
Strung out on compliments, dosed on confidence. Started not to give a for way too long. I'm floating in and out of time.
Don't you think we should rethink some of this technology, because it doesn't seem to be all that safe? And so a family is left to pay for damages after city water main break floods their home? Really?
Walls of mold, layers of mud, extensive water damage. This is the destruction left behind after a water main break sent 400,000 gallons through a Chanhassen family's home. But tonight, that family dealing with a second major blow, the battle over who's going to pay for that damage. Joe McCoy has their story.
A notebook of something.
Allison Kelly is standing in the guest bedroom of her home.
Nancy Drew book.
Seeing what still remains on top of the mud-covered basement floor.
Yeah, it's a little surreal. It's a little surreal.
She has owned this home in Chanhassen with her husband Dan for the past 9 years.
It's better, but I haven't been here for a couple of days.
What happened the morning of August 9th, however, has kicked them out.
I looked out the window on our deck to find just a never-ending stream of water pouring down the hill.
A water main broke roughly 100 feet up the hill from their house. The perimeter of their home turned into a moat. Their basement turned into a swimming pool.
Water was pouring in through every single window, and we couldn't figure out where it was coming from and why is there water rushing into our house.
With the water came the mud that coated everything in their basement.
This was our family room. Pool table, we had lovely built-ins over there with a little game table. You can see the hole where the plywood is. That's the window that failed, and that's where the majority of the actual mud like this came pouring in.
For some perspective, I'm 6'3". The water in the basement was over 5 feet deep, and now all the walls are covered in mold.
This bed was lodged in the wall right here, so it was actually floating.
Their daughter was days away from leaving for her senior year of college.
Her computer, her iPad, her AirPods, her, all of the things. She was starting to buy all of her toiletries, all of that, the towels, Every single thing had to be replaced.
A company is in the process of removing everything, including the drywall, from the basement. However, the Kellys Insurance Company nor the city of Chanhassen will pay for any of the damage.
This is their equipment that failed. This is their water infrastructure that failed because of no fault of our own or anybody that lives in this neighborhood.
The city says they were not negligent and had no prior knowledge of any defect in the water line. And the Kellys' home insurance policy does not cover surface water runoff.
You have insurance. You pay a lot of money every year thinking that your home is going to be covered in one way or another. And there's nothing. There's nothing there. They find reasons not to help you.
Now, in a statement to KARE 11, the city of Chanhassen said they do not take lightly the impact this has had on the Kellys. The statement goes on to say, quote, "The League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust has since conducted an investigation into the cause of the water main break. That investigation determined that the city was not negligent and had no prior knowledge of any defect in the water line. Under state law, cities are only responsible for damages when negligence can be shown, and in this case, the LMC's investigation found that that standard was not met."
Oh
I don't think that's good enough.
my goodness, I cannot imagine.
You know, okay. Oh, man. Just the deadly kissing bug disease apparently is spreading. The Chagas, blood-sucking kissing bugs, now carried a deadly parasite across 32 U.S. states. Most people living with Chagas disease are unaware of their diagnosis. Often too late when they finally figure it out, so-called for their tendency to bite human faces. Kissing bugs are flat-bodied, inch-long insects found throughout the Americas. They feed on blood. Up to 8 million people are infected with this parasite globally, mostly in Latin America. But as temperatures warm, the kissing bugs' favorable environments are expanding. Half the bugs carry Chagas parasites. With global warming, there is concern among scientists that the borders for where endemic infections occur are shifting northward. Pets, wildlife can be reservoirs for the disease. The parasite can also be contracted through contaminated food, blood products, organ donations. And once infected, mothers can pass it along to their unborn babies. While many people experience no symptoms after infection, some can develop severe eyelid swelling, as well as fever, fatigue, body aches, headache, loss of appetite, diarrhea, vomiting. Chagas disease is not discovered, if it's not, and treated within 2 months. Then there's little that one can do, and you can end up having heart problems, digestive, muscles, cause digestive, cardiac, nervous system damage. Wow, the disease is definitely underdiagnosed. Doctors suggest putting on that toxic insect repellent, sealing the cracks around windows and doors, keeping clutter like wood piles away from the home to reduce your chances. Wow, we have so much to be cautious of. That climate change, man. I have a climate change fraud playlist on my channel. On Never Lose Truth, I should have said, not this channel. So, look at this. Wow. Swedish health minister collapsed during a live TV press conference.
Ska lära oss allt om paragraf 5-förordnanden, eller hur Jakob?
Det tänker jag vi har i en särskild övning möjligen. Hälso- och sjukvården.
Ska lära oss allt om paragraf 5-förordnanden, eller hur Jakob?
Det tänker jag vi har i en särskild övning möjligen. Hälso- och sjukvården.
Well, that was a hard fall, for sure. Hope she's okay. YouTube. Can't say anymore. Now, our economy, it's bad. It's really bad. Can I say that it's really bad? I'm going to say it's really bad. I'm going to reorganize this. Starting with Gregory Mannarino.
Solution is the end, to wipe us out, to finish us. U.S. dollar slammed after labor jobs wipeout. The dollar fell immediately on the news because markets see this for what it is, a free-fall economy, vast debt expansion, sooner rate cuts, and a series of them, currency devaluation. The weaker the labor market, the more pressure there's going to be, and the more screaming President Trump is going to do for artificial rate suppression. Make no mistake, if President Trump gets his real wish, we will have negative rates, which means to keep your cash in a bank, you're going to have to pay for the privilege to do it. Oh, yeah. You didn't know that, did you?
Oh, man. Now, Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan, warns U.S. economy is weakening after jobs revision. Oh, that jobs revision. Wow. U.S. economy, this is what he said. U.S. economy is weakening after the Labor Department slashed nearly 1 million jobs. That's quite the revision from its initial employment estimates for the year ending March 2025. He said, I think the economy is weakening. You think, Jamie? I'm not the head of JP Morgan. And now I'm just, a nobody. No longer that professional. You don't have to be somebody who's even in finance. You don't have to have a degree in economics to know that our economy is weakening. Thank you, Jamie. Brilliant of you. In fact, what was really brilliant is when you said whether it's on the way to recession or just weakening, I don't know. Really, Jamie, you don't know? You don't know? CEO of JP Morgan, and you don't know that we've actually been in a recession for quite a while? So, yeah, towing the line. He doesn't know. I think at this point, if we're not in a depression, then that's coming tomorrow. Holy shit, you're not going to believe this. That's Rebel Capitalist that I have recommended, and I'm recommending again, and I'm throwing the link in the chat. I'm just going to play a few minutes. Let's just say that pretty much everybody who's posting videos, who's in finance, or these economists and they're all pretty much on the same page now. And that's the holy shit page.
Hello, fellow rebel capitalists. Hope you are well. I can tell you what's not doing well right now. That would be the labor market. In fact, the data we got today was the worst data in history. Now, let me say that again. The data we got today was the worst data in history in regards to the revisions on the non-farm payroll. Worse than the GFC. Absolutely true. Let me adjust the volume off a little bit there. Sorry for those of you who just got your eardrums blasted. But let's get into the important stuff here, guys. The BLS did their benchmark revisions, their first round of benchmark revisions. And let's go over the details. Let's see. First and foremost, let's go to the BLS. Just go straight to the source. And then we're going to go over and get into the nuance over on Zero Hedge. And then we're going to connect some dots and go back to, I don't know, something called the yield curve. Have you guys ever heard me talk about that? I'm gonna pat myself on the back a little bit throughout this video. Hopefully you guys can appreciate that. Here we go. Whoop, not there we go, right here. Out today. So we have
You need to share your screen.
Right. That'll just build anticipation. It'll build the tension. Right, Josh? Here we go. So from the BLS today, drum roll please, we had a revision of a mere 911,000 jobs. Basically a million jobs. Just, oh, look, there's a squirrel. Remember, what happened to strong and resilient? Yeah, the labor market and the economy, it's very strong and resilient. So long as you're overstating the jobs numbers by, I don't know, 1 million. and remember, this isn't the revisions, or this is a different set of revisions, a different time frame from the revisions we got last year. Remember that? The 818,000. So last year's revisions, 818,000 as far as the first round of the benchmark revisions. This year, it's 911. And by the way, that doesn't include what we've seen for 2025, April, May, June, July. And I'd like to remind you that even before these benchmark revisions, the June number was downwardly revised to a negative number, negative 13,000. And when you include these revisions and go back and look at what happened in 2024, there's a very high probability that at least a couple of months in 2024, the non-farm payrolls should have been negative. So think about the narrative that we have had for the last year and a half. What was it? The economy's booming. The economy is strong and resilient. The labor market is on fire.
Yeah.
We have way too many jobs and not enough workers. The labor market's very tight, as they say. And then everyone is looking at the interest rates and the yield curve saying, I don't know. And then for all of you rebel capitalists out there that just use good old-fashioned common sense, you're driving down the street and seeing homeless camps, or you're going into your local Walmart and seeing the cuticle scissors that are behind, steel bars locked up. You can't even get a can of shaving cream, for heaven's sakes. And you're like, I don't know. The economy's booming, and we have to.
And there's still, not in so many words, but there's still Treasury Secretary, Commerce Secretary, Trump himself. How many Americans can believe all of the lies that come out of all of the mouths of any politician? How could they believe anything. It's that takes a real kind of mental illness. And yeah, I mean, people are really suffering. America is becoming unlivable.
Signed up to be here for this shit in the first place.
I need someone to make it make sense.
I'll tell y'all one thing, like living in America is not easy.
I can't get my diabetes injections anymore because they went from $76 to $499 a month.
You think it's normal to pay $300, $400, $500 on a car note?
How did we get to the point in the United States where the average family can't afford the average home?
No one can afford homes in the United States of America.
Yo, do y'all really think it's normal to be paying $2,500 a month plus for rent?
You have to work. You can get what you want. You gotta be. I don't care.
But I'll never be able to own a home. I'll never be able to drive a luxury car. I'll never be able to take like a luxury vacation outside this country on like a nice flight.
What I'm about to say is probably going to make you sick, but you probably need to hear it. You're not bad with money. America is really this expensive right now.
I just want to say, y'all, I'm 28 years old. I work full time, not no minimum wage job. I have a full on career going, and rent will eat up more than half of my monthly income.
Americans who've been to Southeast Asia, you went back home to the States and realized it was a scam, right?
There's a growing feeling across the country, a quiet panic, a slow burning frustration, that life in America is becoming impossible to afford. Not just uncomfortable, not just inconvenient, but genuinely unlivable. Everything costs more. Rent, groceries, gas, healthcare, insurance, even the basics are slipping out of reach. And for millions of people, the dream of owning a home isn't just delayed, it's dead. Wages haven't kept up. Debt is everywhere. And the math simply doesn't work anymore. People are budgeting harder than ever, cutting back on everything, working multiple jobs, and still falling behind. It's not just the poor, it's the middle class. It's young professionals. It's families with 2 incomes who still can't afford a down payment. It's retirees who thought they'd be safe by now. This isn't just inflation, it's erosion of stability, of dignity, of the belief that hard work leads to a better life. So today we're talking about what it means to live in a country where survival is expensive, where housing is a fantasy, and where the cost of living is quietly pushing people to the edge.
The reasons why things is going on in life is because some of y'all have that mentality of y'all just broke it, y'all need to work harder. No, shit just shouldn't be that fucking expensive, you dumb bitch.
But I'll never be able to own a home. I've never made enough money to be able to do that. I'll never be able to drive a luxury car. I'll never be able to take like a luxury vacation outside this country on like a nice flight. We'll never be able to do those things, you guys. I'm just a 39-year-old millennial that is just tired. I'm tired of doing everything that they told us to do, and then it gets me nowhere. It just keeps me stuck in the same cycle of work, pay bills, stress each month, work, pay bills, have more anxiety. Am I going to pay all my bills this month? Am I going to be able to afford it? Pray that nothing goes wrong, and if something does go wrong, get set back. I do everything that they tell us to do. Work hard, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, go to school, get a good job, do all these things.
I'll tell y'all one thing, like living in America is not easy. It's not, because it's like the cost of living here is so freaking expensive to the point that people feel like they have to have 2 jobs and a side hustle just to maintain bills. That's not even extracurriculars. Like, it's more to life than just paying a bill. I kid you not. You got people out here that are staying in relationships with one another just because they can't afford rent by themselves. Because the cost of living is so freaking expensive. Like, it is crazy out here. Gas going up, food going up, healthcare is just, yeah. Like, how are you supposed to like live comfortably in this? Like, what's going on?
Americans who've been to Southeast Asia, You went back home to the States and realized it was a scam, right? Like, bro, you eat like a king out here for $2 a meal. In the States, you're spending $18, bro, on a Chipotle bowl that looks like it was stomped on. Then they skimp on the chicken, and it's covered in seed oils. And then what are we actually even working for back home? A house we'll never own? You know, you got to spend 30 years to pay off the mortgage. And then once it's paid off, you owe property taxes until you die. You don't own the fucking thing. Congratulations. You just rent it from the government. And then healthcare is literal extortion. Like, if you break your arm, bro, that is $3,000 and a payment plan. Everyone's competing in a game that doesn't even matter. Everyone's buying shit to impress people who they don't even like, who don't even like them. You got these blue-haired freaks destroying the cities of America. Whenever I go back, I can't help but see that we are in the Truman Show in the States. But here in Southeast Asia and shit, even Europe, it's a simple life. It's more affordable. Realize America's not freedom. It's a subscription service with no cancel button. If you don't get it yet, buy my Freedom Protocol guide. I'm not gonna beg, I already left.
I need someone to make it make sense. I can't get my diabetes injections anymore because they went from $76 to $499 a month. These injections literally keep my A1C and my blood sugar at bay. But because people want to use them strictly for weight loss and things they're not supposed to use them for, now we're punished for it. And I don't have medical insurance, so I can't afford that. So now my blood sugar is going to skyrocket again, and I'm always going to feel like shit because metformin doesn't work, Farxiga doesn't work. I'm allergic to Trulicity. When I started this injection that I was on a few months ago, my A1C was 8.9, and it's already been brought down to like 6.8. And now they just take it. It's a sick joke. But if you're a crackhead or you're poor or anything else, everything gets handed to you on a silver platter. But if you're middle class working, it's like you're just absolutely screwed. And it's not fair. It's not fair. You probably don't care. But it sucks.
Yo.
Now, Glenn, I will say that there are people who have to rely certainly on medications for diabetes. So relying on pharmaceuticals is a trap. You know, don't think that every pharmaceutical is something that people can just say, okay, I'm not going to be using this. We're too sick in our nation now. But I also want to say, you know, to Horse Mom, these people will applaud socialism. Losers? Oh my God, losers. Really? That's not nice of you at all. Losers. I don't understand that kind of judgment, especially when we are living what we are living today. I mean, you have all of these external forces destroying people. So to call them losers is really not very nice. So many people.
So this year, insurance premiums and utility bills are climbing fast. In fact, home insurance rates are up to 9.3%, and that's pushing the average premium nationwide close to $2,000 a year. Meanwhile, utility companies are actually requesting a record $29 billion in rate hikes in the first half of 2025, which is more than double than what was asked for 2024.
I have no idea what to do about this electric bill. I'm so tired of Appalachian Electric. I owe $900, and if I don't pay it by September 8th, they're going to cut my power off. I don't don't have $900 to give them. So guess I'm going back to the old times.
How are people affording life right now? Literally. My car insurance, for example, went up back in August. No wrecks, no tickets, nothing. I have no DUIs, like nothing crazy. I'm a middle-aged driver. Anyhow, but I was signing up for my benefits for this next year, and guess what? Doubled. Literally almost doubled. Health insurance. I don't even use it. I get like my normal stuff that's preventative, that's free, but I don't even use my health insurance. I literally don't. Knock on wood, thank the Lord above. I break a leg or something, I have it. But now I'm going to be paying like, I think $600 and some a month for insurance when it was only $300 something. Am I getting paid more? No. Nurses usually get like a 2 to 3% raise, sometimes the cost of living adjustment. But yeah.
This country is so ass backwards. Like, I went to pick up my medicine, so I just got on new insurance. I just started a new job, great insurance, started July 1st. So I just went to pick up my medicine that I've been taking forever, and I've been paying for it not on insurance, and it's like $45 or something for a month. And I just went to pick it up, and it's $300 with insurance. So I looked at the guy, I said, excuse me, what? He said, yeah, now that we ran your insurance, it's $300 for a generic. So I'm like, so without insurance, I was paying $40. With insurance, I'm paying $300. Tell me, make it make sense.
How much do you pay for car insurance?
The link is in the chat. It's sorry to say, but the losers are just all of us in terms of not doing anything for decades, you know. So there's a reason why we're living this nightmare. And yes, we contribute to this nightmare by just letting all of these, billionaires for sure, literally rob us. The insurance companies, so many industries, telecom, the billionaires, these data centers. We're paying the electricity. I mean, why? Hello? Why? Because we sit back and do nothing. You know, I just want to, she's talking about car insurance, her car insurance skyrocketed.
Talk is because it's due to the data centers that are being built everywhere. A lot of the talk is because it's due to bills. Most people are experiencing a sharp increase in their bills. And a lot of the talk is because it's due to the data centers that are being built everywhere. And it's not that the consumers are paying for the electricity that's being used for the data centers. The consumers are paying for the upgrades that the data centers are requiring in order to operate, because they require massive upgrades to feed the enormous systems there, and that's getting passed on to the consumers. So while they're running endless AI servers and cloud computing, regular households are having to help foot the bill with a higher monthly rate. In my opinion, they should have to pay for the whole thing.
Of course.
You know, they have all the money to go ahead and complete the upgrades. Why do you have to pass on the bill to us? We didn't ask for these giant data centers. In fact, most people are not happy with them because of the pollution that they're causing and all the electricity that's going to use up, the water pollution. I mean, there's so much that's going into this. A lot of people are not happy, yet we still have to pay. So it's unfortunate, and it's too bad that they wouldn't just eat up the whole cost.
So this morning I watched.
Why are we having to pay for these data centers? Because they know that we won't do anything about it. That's what billionaires passing along their electric bills to us to pay for it. And all right, I have recommended this channel. The link is in the chat. You might want to listen to her because We're coming so close to all-out collapse. Bank crisis triggered. There have been bailouts, but quiet, very quiet, because the American people don't like bailouts. And there is a bank crisis. But the bailouts, now there are bail-ins. So they will be taking your money when it comes time to bail in. Thank you, ordinary Americans who are suffering so much with this economy. Banks are going to be stealing your money.
U.S. banks are hanging on by a thread. The Federal Reserve's desperate attempt to shrink its balance sheet, combined with the Treasury's flood of short-term debt, has pushed an already fragile system to the brink. These banks that already have razor-thin, if any, reserves are now just one shock away from total collapse. But when that collapse comes, it won't just mean another 2008-style bailout. It could also mean bank bail-ins, where depositors like you and I are forced to save the system with our own savings against our will. But this isn't just a hypothetical. Other countries facing similar threats have already enacted these bail-ins, and the legal framework is already in place here today in the United States. All it takes is one.
It was the Dodd-Frank bill that included the bail-ins. All right, there was a lot of chaos, and we did a major bailout in 2008, I think. We're not going to have that again. We're just going to go right in to your bank accounts and take out the money. Yeah, we've not done anything. So this is what you get. When you have criminals who are ruling you and passing all of this legislation, executing policy, and they're criminals, they're going to just continue to rob you. And now it's gotten so obvious. And here we are. Here we are. It's a 13-minute video. Very good. So, yeah. And Google picks West Memphis for major data center. Yay. Arkansas. Thank you to my subscriber who sent this along. West Memphis. I didn't know that Arkansas has a West Memphis. So Memphis crosses the Arkansas, Tennessee. It's weird. Okay. So West Memphis is set to become the site of Google's newest data center campus, a development hailed as one of the most significant private investments in Arkansas history. 1,178-acre site located just south of Bollinger Road and minutes from Memphis, Tennessee. It will house one of the most advanced data infrastructure campuses in the nation. The plans include multiple hyperscale data center facilities, office buildings, internal access roads, and enhanced substation, stormwater infrastructure, and other supporting site work. And for those of you who live around this area, your property values will plummet. And we'll all be paying higher electric bills because these people know. Just pass it along to the, ordinary consumer. They'll pay it. Careening towards bankruptcy, Santa Monica to declare fiscal emergency after massive sexual abuse settlements. There are so many counties and so many cities that are bankrupt, teetering on bankruptcy. This is just an example. Santa Monica, I loved Santa Monica. and they have so destroyed the city. City's budget strained by a staggering $229 million in settlements related to sexual abuse claims against a former police dispatcher, Eric Euler, with an additional 180 claimants still seeking compensation. Euler was accused of sexually abusing over 200 children, primarily underprivileged Latino boys, from the 1980s to early 2000s. Arrested in 2018, he committed suicide before his trial. Services in Santa Monica will be suffering. So, when they're going to be announcing this emergency, what do you think they're going to do to those who live in Santa Monica? If approved, the financial emergency would authorize Santa Monica City Manager Olive Chi to take all necessary steps to address, alleviate, and mitigate this emergency. What do you think they're going to do? Your taxes are going to skyrocket because that's how they work. Whether it's the billionaires who own these data centers, well, just pass it on, because we're billionaires. We don't pay taxes, and we sure as hell aren't footing the bill for electricity and water. And that's what a lot of these city governments do. So it'll be the people. And at Denver International Airport, what? The garage? 14 hours in the garage. She was charged $2,300.
Parking at the airport is not necessarily cheap, but $2,000 a day? The woman had parked in the garage. It's supposed to be $35 a day. This isn't some sketchy parking lot company. It's the city of Denver's property, so it feels like something that should get sorted out pretty quickly. Our Steve Steger looks at why it wasn't.
Our company is You Should. We offer skin protection apparel.
Cheryl McConnell says the foot traffic at DIA makes it worth the high prices she pays to rent some booth space for her small business. Even justifies what she and her husband usually pay for parking to work there.
I park in the garage in the West Terminal.
How much is that?
$35 a day.
It doesn't, however, justify her bill for 1 day of parking 2 weeks ago.
14 hours.
For 14 hours, they charged me $2,300.
Cheryl says after a long day, she didn't look at the screen when she was checking out that night, just swiped her card.
When I went and logged into my bank account, I was like, oh, $23. I wonder what the special was at DIA that day. And then I grabbed my reading glasses. I was like, what?
$2,310. The receipt they tracked down says Cheryl's car had been parked there since late June. 94,000 minutes, 65 days. If that sounds frustrating already, wait until you hear what it took to try to sort it out.
Person who was on call, they said that we needed to go through the city of Denver. Called first thing on Tuesday morning. You're going to need to talk to another company, talk to another person. Was not helpful at all. Talk to a supervisor. Will have to be a case. Once the case is decided, then it would be 14 days.
Remember, this is $2,300. How on earth could it take that long?
He asked us if we expected to be bumped to the top of the list, which my husband responded, how big is the list? And he said that that was confidential. They have all the information. I'm sure they're going to make good on it. But why should it be this hard?
In the end, it wasn't. Steve on Your Side asked DIA what happened here. They got us an answer within hours. They said they're refunding Cheryl immediately, said the error was a glitch with their parking system, an unclosed ticket from back in June, and that currently our review doesn't indicate that this is a widespread issue.
So it probably was resolved very quickly because Next 9 News, had this broadcast. But trying to resolve problems, especially with this technology. Any of you experience it? It's just such a frustration. It's infuriating that everything that you try to do, it becomes a problem. Yeah. In Auburn, professor stabbed to death while walking her dog in the park.
Investigators say what should have been a peaceful Saturday morning walk at Kiesel Park turned into a brutal crime scene. On Monday, prosecutors confirmed they will seek the death penalty against the accused killer of Dr. Julie Chanelli. 28-year-old Harold Rashad Dabney III is charged with 2 counts of capital murder, murder during a kidnapping, and murder during a robbery. Monday afternoon, Dabney appearing before Judge Jeff Tickle for his 48 72-hour initial hearing. Cameras were not allowed inside. The judge appointing 2 defense attorneys, setting no bond in the case, and a preliminary hearing is set for October 8th to determine if the case will go before a grand jury.
Be very aware of your surroundings always. Governor Sanders, Arkansas, announces National Guard deployment to assist ICE operations in Arkansas. Yay! Operations will be fully funded by the federal government. Violent, criminal, illegal immigrants have no place in Arkansas. 18 will be assigned in Little Rock, 10 in Fayetteville, 10 in Fort Smith. 2 will be at Camp Robinson for command and control support. All righty. And they'll be going into businesses, they'll be going into restaurants, and they'll be scooping up an awful lot who are working. Sanders said that guardsmen will not be armed, but will provide logistical support for detained transport, operating or riding in a vehicle with an ICE agent who has custody of detained individuals. Well, they weren't armed in Washington, D.C. until they were. And Sotomayor, but I also agree, Supreme Court ruled, their ruling allows ICE to racially profile, considering how many Mexican Americans are in our country. To go after people who look Mexican is crazy. Crazy. Ethnicity was a relevant factor for ICE agents to consider. That is okay. And a whole lot of people will not care. They're fine with it. And if they're really American citizens, well, then ICE won't pick them up. ICE has been picking up American citizens and detaining them, sometimes for months. And I'm so sick of people who abuse dogs. I am so sick of it. I wish that all of these people would be treated just like they treat dogs. I'm not even 25 dogs rescued, 2 arrested. We have such lax law on animal cruelty that the link is in the chat. I'm not, but look at this. Someone abandons these 2 to a shelter, so they cling to each other to overcome it. Happily, a good human adopts both of them. And Florida deputy rescues dog found on side of the road.
Come here. Hey, puppy dog. How are you? Yeah, I got you. We got Roscoe. Got Roscoe. Come on, Roscoe. Let's load up. Let's load up. Roscoe. Yeah, this is Deputy Mirror. You got a dog named Roscoe? You Mark? Yes, sir. All right, let's come get your dog.
I'm so sorry.
Nah.
There's
Yeah.
a hole in our back fence and we somehow got through the door.
No worries, man. Saw you had like either GPS or e-collar on.
Yeah.
So. Yep. Middle Tower Road, just sitting there.
Wow. That's so scary.
Yeah. Come here, bud. We'll put this back on.
I'm so sorry.
No. You got him?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you finish up.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
You have a great day.
You
Thank you
too,
so
man.
much.
I love dogs, so I used to be a canine handler, so you
Really?
absolutely love dogs. He was a little skittish at first, but I coached him in. So.
Scared me. Oh my gosh. Come on, Roscoe. Thank you so
All
much.
Right,
Yeah. I mean, so many people want to create problems for other people. You know, the dog apparently got out of, a hole in the fence or something. How nice was that? That was great. That was great. Don't UK the USA. Now, unfortunately, this is coming a little late in the live. I will post the link to this article, and I am going to address it tomorrow. It was, okay. I won't say anything until tomorrow. Click on the link, read it, and woe to the British, particularly the British who are actually British and are today being forced by their ruling class to be unwilling cattle subject to the unrestrained exploitation, looting, raping of the third world, barbarians, their betters imported. I'll leave it at that. But I was like, are you flipping kidding me? We're just like the Brits. Okay. And before he left office, Washington warned the nation of the greatest threat. So 2026 will be the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. We still do this. We still have like these anniversaries for these things because, well, they're meaningless. Followed by the 250th anniversary of George Washington's farewell address in 2046. Okay. Washington's farewell address warned less about foreign entanglements and more about domestic dangers like partisanship, public debt, manipulative leaders. He feared the political factions could be exploited by, quote, ambitious and unprincipled men, threatening liberty and the Constitution itself. Yeah, unprincipled men and women all over. like this guy, Huckabee. Excuse my French, one hell of a sick motherfucker. U.S. ambassador calls Israeli genocide in Gaza heaven versus hell battle. So, he described the Israeli genocide in Gaza as a battle of the ages, a confrontation between heaven and hell. Huckabee described Israel's war in Gaza as a vertical battle, insisting that it must be understood as a struggle between good and evil. This is not horizontal. It is not left, right, liberal, conservative. This is a vertical battle. It is heaven versus hell. It is good versus evil. He said that the war does not stem from social or economic conditions, but originates from demonic forces. He emphasized that Christian believers worldwide must acknowledge this reality to comprehend the war's scope fully. Huckabee also called on Christians in the United States and abroad to stand with Israel, not merely in support of its ruling body, but because Israel, he claimed, represented the Abrahamic faith, divine law, Western civilization's foundation, as if we're civilized, portraying Israel's critics as aligned with destructive forces. Wow. Huckabee claimed that the Palestinian resistance movement, Hamas, and other Palestinian resistance groups threaten not only Jews, but also Christianity itself, framing their actions as a danger to both religions. The ambassador condemned the United Nations stance toward Israel as insane, accusing the organization of harboring unprecedented levels of anti-Semitism. Huckabee also supported Israel's controversial E1 plan for massive new settlements in the occupied West Bank. Speaking on Israeli army radio, he claimed that the extensive development of settlements do not violate international law and that the U.S. would not oppose it. It is a war between good and evil, but he's got the sides wrong. He's got the sides very wrong. I'll post the link if you want to read the full article. But this is how disgusting we are, okay? This is so repulsive. I mean, we've got evil and these psychopathic, narcissistic, subhuman things that are out there in positions of, power and influence, projecting onto the Palestinians everything that Israel is, everything that the U.S. is, everything that Huckabee is. Spain has hit Israel with a new round of sanctions, including banning members of the IDF from coming to Spain. Okay. I don't know if any other country has hit Israel with sanctions, but banning IDF from coming to Spain, good. I say good. Yeah, these are the evil people who are going to destroy Christianity. Yeah. These are the good people.
We were looking for babies, but
So this IDF soldier, again, posting, and they have to get approval. So, yeah, you can speculate for a long time about why we're seeing what we're seeing. And unfortunately, the Israeli government, the leadership of the IDF, this, they know, will create an awful lot of hate for Jews, which it shouldn't, because if you have a brain that just puts everybody in a group and think that they're all the same, that's not a good brain. That's a very unhealthy brain. But that is pretty much how people think. The Israeli government, Netanyahu and team, are actually creating anti-Semitism all over the world by what he is doing now, because they want to claim that anybody who criticizes Israel is anti-Semitic. Anybody who objects to genocide is anti-Semitic. None of that is true. Okay, we know that. But this is one of the videos that this guy, absolutely, he knows he can post this, because at the time they were posting these videos, Netanyahu was claiming that the IDF is the most moral army in the world.
we were looking for babies, but there is no babies left.
What babies? Say that again. Say it again.
No, maybe I kill a girl, she was 12, but I'm looking for a baby. We were looking for babies, but there is no babies left.
Yeah, Huckabee, evangelical Christian, sick beyond words, beyond comprehension. Thousands of Palestinians in the West Bank stranded in the streets, unable to return home after the Israeli army sealed it off, except for settlers who roam free, terrorizing people, setting houses on fire. Yeah. We're not going to oppose it. Go ahead and do it. It's not against international law. It is so against international law. But lying is what we've been doing, certainly my entire life. Keep it up. And yes, this is absolutely true that once again, we're facing on social media a Nakba that is taking place. So Israel asking all the Palestinians to leave North Gaza so they can bomb the shit out of it. And okay, Israel in the last 24 hours bombed Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Tunisia, and Qatar. Qatar? Oh, Hamas says top leaders survived the Israeli strike on Qatar, while 5 lower-ranking members were killed. Wow. Is World War III operating already? Israel launched a strike targeting Hamas leadership in Qatar on Tuesday as they considered a U.S. proposal for a ceasefire. Well, you're bombing, you're talking ceasefire? The strike on the territory of U.S. ally marked a stunning escalation and risked upending talks aimed at winding down the war and freeing hostages. The son of a Hamas leader was killed in the strike. Also, a member of Qatar's internal security force was killed. The U.S. knew about the strike in advance, announced by Press Secretary Levitt, said that U.S. diplomatic envoy Steve Witkoff passed along a warning to the Qataris once the White House was made aware of the strike. And, well, they're a little upset because it came while they could hear the explosions. So, yeah, they condemned what it referred to as a cowardly Israeli attack on Hamas political headquarters in Doha. Foreign Ministry spokesperson called it a flagrant violation of all international laws and norms. That's what they do. And they and us just lie, continually lie. Also Yemen, right, days ago. And yeah, you ask a question to a congressman, you could get arrested. Medea was arrested for asking Representative Darrell Issa a simple question: what does he think about Israel bombing Qatar? It is Qatar, or Qatar. Instead of investigating Israel for bombing Qatar, Yemen, Palestine, Lebanon, Tunisia, Syria, and more, Congress shields Israel and silences peace activists.
Totally bogus arrest for me asking a member of Congress what he thought about Israel bombing Qatar, instead of investigating Israel for bombing 7 countries: Qatar, Yemen, of course Palestine, Lebanon, yesterday Tunisia, Syria. Israel needs to be investigated. It's slaughtering people every day. It is starving people every day. That's what needs to be investigated. Israel, not a non-violent peace activist that simply wants to hold members accountable. Please look up Darrell Issa and see how much money he has taken from AIPAC. He is somebody who is doing the bidding of AIPAC, doing the bidding of a foreign country, Israel. And us, the peace activists, who for almost 2 years now have been trying to stop the U.S. support for this genocide, are once again.
It's not just support. We're actively involved. And Israel, we have great strategic interests in giving them all the weapons and the money, and yes, the intel, and we've got boots on the ground, and all right, go ahead, bomb Qatar, bombs, we're in Syria, yeah, okay, so they're working hand in hand. U.S. military, IDF, it's not just support. So, but really, she's Jewish, by the way. She's a self-hating Jew, I guess. All right. You know what? We only have 6 more minutes. I can't stand what has been happening. And it's not good. And it's getting worse. And so many people are suffering the consequences. That is the face of evil, right here. Trump, the face of evil. We're allowing these billionaires to just destroy us, kill us. Why? Why? Well, I'm afraid everything is just going to get worse. So, you think Israel is using our bombs? You think? You think? All right. For the last 5 minutes, I'm just going to play this. This is an 8-minute video. And it's pretty wonderful. Don't we have to do something? Don't we have to? Yeah, we do. The name of the title of the video is Living with North Carolina Black Bears.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
This bear just opened my car doors. Look, it's doing it. Oh my God, it is opening. His arm's up. Oh my gosh. Two or three, but never four, huh?
Yeah, she's just rolling around with them.
Cute.
My mic was unplugged. I didn't do it. So the link is in the chat. You can watch the remaining 3 minutes. And again, weather, remember, check it out. Here come the Doppler radar. And it's 7:31 or 8:30 on the East Coast. And they're raging, all going off at the same time. And you'll see later on, they will take over the eastern half of the United States. So be safe, everybody, and live honestly and speak honestly. That is the only way we can ever get anywhere healthy. Honesty, that is the foundation of all healthy relationships. Thank you for showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow. And be safe and be very aware of your surroundings. And good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.